Hello everyone and welcome to this video on the full moon in Sagittarius that is happening on June 17th. So this is the last full moon before we enter eclipse season, and these eclipses are going to be happening on the Cancer Capricorn axes, and it's going to be a lot about integrating the divine feminine and masculine energies and just a time of massive change and transition. And this full moon is really paving the way for that. It's also helping us welcome in the solstice, and the ruler of this full moon is Jupiter, the planet of luck, the planet of expansion. And right now Jupiter is closer to Earth, so we are really feeling our emotions being amplified right now. We are going to feel this full moon big time. So this is the axis in astrology that is all about knowledge. It's all about learning. It's all about communication. It's about our belief system. And in Gemini, it's more about collecting the information, collecting all the facts, collecting the data. And I know for some people, there can be a feeling of being like a little bit overwhelmed throughout Gemini season, throughout June so far. It's like maybe a feeling of being a little bit scattered, or we have all these options in our life, but we're not really sure like what path to follow, what path to take. But Gemini is about having that open-mindedness. It is about having that curiosity of just asking questions, exploring. The opposite of Gemini, Sagittarius, which is where this full moon is happening, is more about choosing your path. And now that you have that information, it really is just about saying, I'm going to commit to a path, I'm going to commit to a philosophy. But the beautiful thing about Sagittarius is it doesn't mean that this is permanent. Sagittarius is a mutable energy. So we're choosing a path that we want to take. We're choosing our adventure. Sagittarius is that centaur, right? It aims in the direction it wants to go and it's off on the adventure. But on the way, if something else comes up, it can take a detour, or it may get to that adventure and realize, okay, I'm ready for the next thing. But it's still about choosing the path, because otherwise we can stay in our mind. We can stay over analyzing things. We can stay just, if you've ever had this feeling of like, I just have to think about it a little bit longer, or I have to get all the details, that's the Gemini energy. But then it does come a time where we do have to say, I'm just going to take the action. I'm going to follow through. I'm going to take the steps. And the Sagittarius full moon really invites us to do that and to have the faith in doing that. Like the title of this video, right? Allow your vision to be bigger than the fear. There's a courageous energy that we're being showered with this full moon as well. And it is that courage to say yes to where my heart is leading me, to say yes to where my soul is calling me, even without all the details, without all the information. I'm going to say yes and trust that as I say yes, as I have the courage to follow that path, the how will reveal itself along the way. The next steps will reveal itself. My job is to stay in alignment with that vision and to hold the faith. So let me know if this is resonating. I want to just say hi to people jumping in. Hi, Tony. Hi, Sherry. Brittany. Welcome. Yay for Sagittarius. I know. This is awesome. So if you're jumping in now, share with me, what are you releasing and letting go in this energy? What I love about the Sagittarius Gemini axes as well is that it is about releasing to allow more into our experience, because it's this flexible energy of we don't want to hold on too tightly to things. And sometimes we hold on to these old patterns, these old energies that have just served their purpose, right? We've outgrown them, but we stay stuck, right? We may stay in a certain relationship, or we stay repeating the same routine, the same habit, when really we have outgrown it. So it's having the confidence within ourselves as well to know that as I let go of what isn't working, that's what creates space for the new to flow in. And also, I was thinking about this earlier, and I love this about Sagittarius energy, it's also embodies freedom more than any other zodiac sign. People that have a lot of Sagittarius energy, it's like, don't fence me in, my soul wants to be free. And I think on a deep level, we all crave that sense of freedom, that sense of emotional freedom in our life. And the more that you let go of things that weigh you down, the more free that you feel. So the more that you can let go of judgment of self, judgment of others, it's like this freedom of release, right? Like, oh, it feels good to let go of those judgments, the guilt, the blame. So use this full moon to let go of those energies, to let go of the ways of thinking that you have outgrown, so you can expand into the new, so you can step into your next adventure. It's only as you let go that you create space for the new to flow in, right? And that you can go on that next adventure. All right, hi Sarah, Sherry, welcome, beautiful. Oh, I love this, keep sharing. I love hearing all about this, what you're celebrating as well as what you're releasing, because celebration is a very high vibrational energy. And when we really step into celebrating what is flowing well in our life, what we are passionate about, and I'm telling you, regardless of where you are, there is always something to be grateful for. There is always something to celebrate, because that is a mindset. It is a mindset to choose to see what is working in your life. And the more you shift into that, the more that there is to then celebrate, right? It's like the law of attraction at the very core, the very basics of law of attraction is what I focus on in my life, is what expands in my life. So really stepping into that energy of celebration. Now, the ruler of this full moon is Jupiter, and Jupiter is extra close to Earth right now. I was camping this past weekend. I went to a friend's wedding, and my husband and I were camping out for the night, and we could see the stars, and I actually spotted Jupiter in the sky, and I was so excited. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so awesome, because, and you may relate, I'm sure everyone here, obviously, you're astrology lovers, you're probably the person that's always like looking up at the moon, drawn to the moon, drawn to the stars. So I spotted Jupiter, and then I started talking about the astrology and like the phase that the moon was in, because that stuff just fascinates me. But okay, but getting back to this, with Jupiter being right next to the moon right now at the time of the full moon, and also the ruler of Sagittarius, the ruler of this full moon, it is this extra energy of optimism, this energy of expansion. And with Jupiter, and when we really feel into that energy, it's a reminder to count the blessings in our life. It is a reminder of how abundant we are. And this full moon can bring with it a lot of luck, right? Jupiter is associated with luck. But luck is an energy that we claim, right? We choose that I'm going to be a lucky person. I'm going to attract blessings in my life. I'm going to attract abundance in my life. And when you make that mindset shift, when you make that choice, your outer world will reflect that. And this full moon can really just lift our spirits and help us see that, right? Help us see that as I have the courage to trust that vision in my heart, to count my blessings, to know that who I am at my core is abundant. Like, we are one with the universe. The universe is clearly abundant, so you are clearly abundant. When you actually feel that in your body, it just changes everything. So really take time to feel into this leading up to the full moon, at the full moon, and notice how that shifts your whole energy field. So say hi if you're jumping in. Let me know if this is resonating. And feel free to ask any questions as well. I'll be checking in for questions even on the replay. Sarah, I can choose luck. Yes, I'm in. Absolutely. Isn't that a good feeling? Brittany, I love, you're always so validating of my energy and why I'm feeling what I'm feeling. Yeah, astrology is great for that, because when we're really sensitive, we're attuned to these energies, like we're feeling it anyway, and then we hear the astrology around it and we're like, oh, okay. This starts to put some of the puzzle pieces together. So I want to look at some of the other aspects that are happening at the full moon as well. So obviously Jupiter is a very big thing. We have this opposition in effect with the sun in Gemini, the moon in Jupiter. So it is this energy of knowledge, of learning, of expansion, of growth. It's also, before I look at the aspects, I just have another message coming through that I want to share as well. It is really a spiritual element to this full moon as well. Sagittarius is a spiritual energy, and it is about higher consciousness, higher truth, and I also see it as a way to connect into our higher self. And what I mean by our higher self, how I see my higher self, all of our higher self, it's kind of who I am as I transcend the ego, as I transcend like the beliefs that I have, the thoughts that I've kind of collected on this life journey. It's who I really am at my core on a soul level. So this full moon, we can really connect into that and lock into that energy in a really big way. And when we're in flow with our higher self and we're open into channeling guidance and wisdom from our higher self and just like embracing that within us, we see manifestations in our life just beginning to flow with greater ease because we're not attached to our old stories. We're not attached to our old stories about what the world looks like, right? Or what we expect from ourselves or other people. It's like it's all so much bigger than that. And we really tap into this energy of infinite possibility. And I feel this so strongly at the full moon. So some of the aspects that I want to look at initially is with Jupiter, since it's the ruler of this moon. So Jupiter and Neptune are forming what is known in astrology as a square at the time of this full moon. And this also adds even more of the spiritual element because Neptune is also that connection to your higher self. It's your connection to the spirit realm. And with the square with Jupiter, in the shadow, it may lead to a feeling of like a little haziness, a little bit of being unclear of the path. And this is actually a formation that has been in effect throughout the year. It's kind of like a hallmark of 2019 is this Jupiter-Neptune square. And it can lead to maybe being like lost or confused in the illusion of I know my dreams, I'm in my imagination, I know what I want, but not necessarily grounding it into your body or feeling yourself embody that energy. And of course, we don't want to get lost there. So you want to like lock into your vision, right, of what you see yourself accomplishing, whether that's through your business, through your relationships, just what you envision for your life. You want to feel into that energy, but the key is you want to take that energy and you really want to anchor it into your body so you can experience it now. Because it's great to have our dreams. We're always growing, we're always expanding. But if in our mind it is just a dream, then it means it's not a current reality in the now, if that makes sense, right? It's like two different energies, but it can be a current reality in the now if we learn to take that energy, we feel it, we experience it in our body, right? So we really want to work with that. And Neptune is also going to be sextiling over to Saturn, and this is harmonious flow between Saturn and Neptune. And this is really good for having that belief in ourselves and also taking the practical action steps, because in astrology, Saturn, sometimes it gets a bad reputation, like people will talk about their Saturn returns being really kind of difficult, challenging times in our life, because what Saturn calls us to do is step up into the best person that we can be. And sometimes in that stepping up, in that process of maturing and, you know, doing the adult thing, I guess, when we think of Saturn, it is kind of like step up, be the adult, be the professional, like that's the Saturn vibe. But when it is flowing with Neptune, it actually is really good for taking those dreams and having us know that it can be a reality, right? That we're actually taking it from the energetic state, we're feeling it in our body, and we're experiencing it in the physical realm. So it is this beautiful energy of fully realizing and knowing that my dreams can start to unfold now, that this woman I have been becoming, this future self, can actually begin to unfold in the present moment. And that's a very exciting, expansive energy when we start to see it's not just something in the future, it's not just a dream anymore, but it's starting to become my current reality. And that just feels so good. So I love this aspect. Sherry, how are you? Beautiful. Sherry, just be in the moment. Yes, I love that. Or you're saying it can be hard to be in the moment. Yeah. You know what? It can be. And I love that you actually brought up that point, because when we're looking at this energy with Jupiter of stepping into infinite possibilities and like anchoring it into the now, part of the key to doing that, right, is being like fully present in the moment, fully present in the now, because the infinite possibilities exist in this moment. They exist in the now. So the more that we can be grounded, that we can be present in our body, the easier it is to tap into that. And another beautiful formation. There's just so many awesome aspects happening with this full moon. So we also have Mars and Mercury teaming up in the sign of Cancer, and this adds a very feminine goddess energy. And I imagine if you're following my page, you love working with the goddess energy. I love channeling that divine feminine energy, and this is also helping us really embody what we want to bring forward into the world, what we want to manifest, because the divine feminine energy is all about creating space to receive what it is we desire. So the masculine energy is when we're out there and we're taking the action, right? Like we're kind of checking off our to-do list, we're doing our tasks. There's a place for all of that. But with this Cancerian energy that's coming into play with the full moon, it's that reminder to also embody what we want and create space to receive it. Now, in astrology, Mercury is the messenger, it is the communicator, and Mars is the planet of drive, going after what we want. So with this conjunction that's happening between Mars and Mercury at the full moon, it is this stronger desire to also really speak our truth and to speak out about the things that we are passionate about, and this very intuitive element too, to not be so much in our mind about it, but sink into our body, our intuition of what feels right. So, you know, when people talk about, like, if you're making a decision and they say, like, you want to feel into a full body yes. Like, what that means is it's not just, this feels like the right path when I look at all the details or I analyze it, but it actually feels right in my body. Like, it feels expansive when I think about moving forward with this project, when I think about connecting with this person, right? Like, it actually feels expansive in my body. And I read a quote, it might have been on Facebook the other day or Instagram, anyway, somewhere on social media, and this isn't exactly word for word what it was saying, but at the core, the message of it was our body can actually reject a certain person's energy or the energy of a certain place, or it can embrace it. So the more that we actually learn to get connected into our body and receiving those signals, we begin to know right away, is this something I want to move forward with? Like, is my body actually inviting this person's energy into my life, right? Or is it rejecting it? And in my experience, every time I neglect listening to my body and I instead overanalyze it, I later on, right, it's usually like not the best decision to make, because I feel like our body and our intuition always knows, and it has information that our minds doesn't always have access to. Let me know if that's resonating with you. I hope I'm explaining that right, because I just feel this is a strong message around this full moon energy, because Gemini really is the energy of being in that space of being in our mind, right, and looking at the details. And there is that place for that. But with this Cancerian energy really coming in, and it's going to be, of course, as we move into Cancer season and eclipse season, it's going to be huge. We're really learning about how do I listen to my feelings, my intuition, what my body is telling me. And this full moon is starting to pave the way for that in a really big way. And, you know, recognizing as we do that, that's part of having the answers within ourselves, having the wisdom within ourselves, because as we go through life, we collect information and we begin to know, like, what is right for us, what doesn't work for us, and we hold that knowledge in our energy field and in our body. So the more we tune into that, the more we begin to get clarity on that life path and what is right for us. Thank you for all the hearts. Michaela, your tips for connecting with your body deeply. Ooh, I like that. Yeah. So I think it can be as simple as just being in meditation each day for as little as 5 minutes, focusing on our breath, going inward to our body. But how I also see it, and I do love to do meditation, but more than just having like set practices where we connect to our body, I like to do that like moment to moment as I go throughout my day, or when I'm faced with a decision, to actually just like sink into my heart space and really be honest about how is my body responding to this decision that I'm being faced with. So it's actually just going throughout the day and learning to be more in my body, more grounded. But there's definitely like steps you can take, like chakra work or meditation. And I think just having that intention, right, of being more embodied And it's a practice. The more we listen to it, we trust it, and we say yes to that intuition, to what our body is telling us, the easier it is to hear it. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a quick look at the chart. I have my MacBook on the side here to see if I'm missing any main things that I really want to touch on and share with you. If you're just jumping in, say hi, share with me, what are you celebrating in this full moon? What are you releasing? Okay, so let me take a look. Here we go. Here we go. All right, so I think I touched on a lot of the main aspects that are going to be happening. And the message I felt into in the space of the Akashic Records, so I tuned into the records before coming onto this video to just see what messages were coming through, to really more deeply feel into the full moon energy. And what I want to pass on around this is really having the courage to say yes to the growth and the expansion in your life, and to know that when you fully say yes to your vision, to your dreams, they will begin to unfold. Because what can happen sometimes is we may think, okay, like I'm ready for this huge expansion in my business, I'm ready for my soulmate, I'm ready for more money. But if there is a part of you that's still maybe not quite ready, or maybe you're fearful about it, or maybe you're like, I'm ready, but maybe not quite ready. It's like mixed signs to the universe. So the more that you can sink into fully saying yes to that growth, to that expansion, what you desire will naturally begin to flow into your life and begin to flow into your experience. So have the courage to say yes and fully align with what it is you desire to create in your life, and watch as the magic unfolds. So if you would like to book a private reading, check out the link below or visit spiritualgoddesses.com, and you can grab a free gift while you're there, which is all about moon magic, manifesting with the lunar cycles. So thank you for joining me today. Sending so much love and light your way. Happy full moon, and I will see you very soon. Bye.